Hi everyone, welcome back to Natalie's Witchy Wisdom, the Purple Broom Apothecary. Today I'm continuing the Herb Cabinet series, and today I'm going to be talking about cornflower. I'm going to try to hold this up so you can see. It is a lovely plant. It is part of the daisy family. It is called cornflower because it tends to grow near crops, specifically corn. And this has many different properties. Cornflower is the actual scientific name is Centaurus cyanus. And the Centaurus, the genus name, comes from the centaur Chiron, who supposedly taught humans how to use herbs in healing in mythology. I believe it's Greek mythology. And then Cyanus was a devotee of the goddess Flora, which her favorite flower was supposedly cornflowers. Now, as you can see, it's got a very beautiful blue color. I'm going to try to take some of it out. Maybe you can see it a little bit better if I open up the jar. There you go. That's a better look. A little piece of chamomile in there. All right. So as you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful, lovely blue. We use the petals. That's what you're seeing. And again, it's a derivative of the daisy family. So people use this in tea. It's a key ingredient in Lady Grey tea, which happens to be one of my favorites. It is also used traditionally. Young men would wear it. It's called bachelor's button or boutonniere flower because they used to wear it in their collar to indicate their availability as a bachelor. So consequently, this herb is one that is closely related to fertility, love, specifically attracting a new lover. And they say that if you want to attract a new lover, you should sprinkle a little bit of cornflower on your right foot. I don't know why, but that's what they say. And it's also sometimes used to increase I'm having one of those days. The information was here and it just went out of my head. Clairvoyance and psychic ability. So sometimes it is mixed with other herbs such as anise, borage, lavage, oregano, lemongrass, things like that into a tea, and it is drunk to increase your clairvoyance or your psychic ability. Now, sometimes it's put into sachets for love. It's also put into sachets or made into a poultice and put on the eyes to increase the third eyesight. It was also used to decrease like puffiness in the eyes. The French in the Pharmakeia, their book, the Pharmacopoeia, they recommended steaming it in a pot and putting your face over it because it's supposed to give your eyes a very bright look and your skin a clear look. But it's often used in teas and things like that. Sometimes people also sprinkle it into their ice cubes to give them a decoration so that it's got a little bit of color since it can be drunk. It's not anything harmful. People like to put it in their ice cubes to give their drinks kind of a fruity, it's not fruit, but kind of a decorative look, a little bit of color and pop. It's certainly got a lot of color. This jar is kind of foggy again. I mean, it really is just a beautiful plant. Now, another thing that cornflower is good for, I don't know if you can see that. Maybe if I tip the camera down, you can see it. Yep, there you go. Okay, so another thing that cornflower is good for is making a magical ink. And the way that you would do that, there's a couple of different ways. You can boil it down. You can soak it in alcohol, like vodka makes good magical inks. But the recipe that I saw for making an ink with cornflower is to take enough cornflower to fill like a coffee mug, kind of loosely packed. Then you put that into water and you boil the water until just enough water to fill a small baby jar remains and the water is turned bright blue. Then you would pour that into your baby food size jar, add 3 to 4 drops of vinegar and a little pinch of salt to act as a preservative to keep the mold down so that it doesn't mold or mildew. And then you keep it in a dark place and you use it with a quill ink pen, and it makes a very powerful ink for any kind of psychic work or for any kind of, I would use blue for healing work. I always think of healing when I see blue. Any kind of attraction or love spells, it would also make a good ink for that, even though it's blue. Oftentimes we associate red with that. So, sorry, my husband was texting me. Another use for this is that they would use a decoction of the petals and it was filtered through a linen cloth and then consecrated during the time of the full moon, and that was used as an eye bath to increase the clairvoyance. So that goes back to what I was talking about. So cornflower is lovely. It doesn't have much of a flavor. There's not much of a taste to it specifically, but it certainly gives a pop of color to anything that you had. So if you wanted it in a tea and you wanted to increase your clairvoyance, you could do that. If you were working on a dream tea where you wanted relaxation, you could mix it with lavender and chamomile for a relaxation tea, and this would give you the psychic ability component to it. It's really just a beautiful little flower, and I love to use it in loose incenses and in sachets because it adds such a lovely pop of color. Again, I use it for healing spells. I find it very helpful to have that as sprinkled around the altar or used in conjunction with a blue candle for healing. It just brings that color to mind to me. I find it a very calming. To me, blue is a very calming Pacific color, and so I like it for that too. I find it's also very good for meditation, especially if I want a deep meditation. I'll add it to my loose incenses for that. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of information about cornflower and its uses, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks so much, and blessed be.